This is one of the most challenging furniture projects I've ever taken on. I'm taking these two dusty, grimy, totally unrelated pieces from the thrift store and transforming them into a complete matching three-piece bedroom set for my guest bedroom, complete with herringbone wood accents. If you're new here, hi, my name's Catherine and I do all sorts of DIYs, so let's get right into it. This dresser is traditional with rounded, mismatched drawer faces. The top is peeling and the drawer slides are super sticky, but otherwise it's in decent shape. And then we have this child-size, boxy, and very unbedazzled desk that I'm planning to split into to make two side tables. I started by pulling out all the drawers and washing everything down with some TSP. And then it was time to remove all the handles and also pry off this elevated veneer detail on the mismatched dresser drawers. I bought this desk in particular because the two sides were symmetrical and the right size for my room, but also because the construction made each side quite independent and easy to convert each piece so it could stand on its own. So once I had the desk portion loosened, I literally just pulled this desk apart. This did leave a couple of pockets and holes on either side, so I just filled those with some paintable, sandable wood filler, and once everything was dry, I could do some scuff sanding to get it back down. While I had my sander out, I also did scuff sanding on every single surface of every single piece. If you're into furniture flipping, you might have seen a lot of people using this Surf Prep sander. It has a foam sanding pad that contours around rounded edges and intricate details, which makes it really great for a scuff sanding like this. It's definitely one of the pricier options though, so if you're in the market, be sure to do your research. Then I just need to wipe all the dust off with a tack cloth and it's time to get painting. These pieces are a bit different in shape, but rather than doing any big structural changes, I'm going to make them feel like a set by painting the bodies all the same color and applying the same wood details to all the drawer fronts. I am using Fusion Mineral Paint in Algonquin, a medium beige on the top, and then Putty, which is a lighter cream color on the sides of the bodies. I applied 2 coats to every surface, waiting a couple hours between coats. This is surprisingly my first time ever using this paint. I know it's quite popular. I've used a few of Fusion's milk paints before, but never this mineral paint, which is closer to chalk paint with a few extra benefits. This product needs no primer and minimal prep. It's high coverage and it does not require a top coat. Sounds like a painter's dream, right? So I've definitely been excited to put it to the test. I loved the coverage and it seems to adhere similarly to a chalk paint, but the one thing I'm still unsure about is the whole no top coat thing. The final texture was a bit rough and seemed almost porous, so I'm not convinced it'll hold up against coffee mug stains and things like that, but I guess time will tell. Let me know your thoughts on this product in the comments down below. Alright, while all that paint is curing, it's time to get to the meat of this project, which is the wooden drawer faces. I bought a pack of 100 birch painting stir sticks off of Amazon, and what I'm going to do is glue them to the front of each drawer face in a herringbone pattern. To start, I'm drawing a center line down each drawer face. This is going to help me line up the pattern. Then I squeezed out a generous amount of liquid nails, spread it around with one of the stir sticks, and started laying out my pattern. There's plenty of working time with this glue, so I'm going to take my time to make sure everything's even and straight, and I'm also snapping some of the sticks in half to save material on all the little corners. Once everything's in place, I'm going to lay a piece of plywood over this and clamp it down to make sure everything is secure while the glue is drying. And then it's time to repeat the process for the rest of my drawers. Now, for the larger dresser, the drawer fronts were actually curved, so that was a bit of an extra challenge. These birch sticks are soft and somewhat bendable, but it's a bit of a dance between how strong the glue can hold and how much force the stick is giving to try to straighten itself back up. Clamping was also an interesting process. The plywood piece I used is actually a scrap piece from my DIY shiplap project, so it's very thin and flexible. Then I just added as many clamps as I could to get pressure across the entire surface, starting from the inside and working my way out. This used up all my clamps, so I actually only managed to do 1 drawer per day, so it's a good thing that there were only 5. Once everything was dried, it was time to start cleaning up the edges. I started by taking this coping saw and slicing off as much excess wood as possible. I was very gentle and took care not to pop the wood pieces off the drawer fronts. This is the time that any gluing imperfections will show up, so whenever there's a piece that didn't stick down quite right the first time, I just squeezed in a bit more glue and clamped it back down. Then we routed the edges with a flush bit to get them perfectly in line with the shape of the original drawer. This is super important because if there's anything sticking out, the drawer might not slide in and out as well as it did before. If you don't have a router, you can also do some sanding on the edges to smooth them out. The next step is filling any gaps. These stir sticks were not perfectly milled or straight, so there were a few imperfections that I wanted to fill in to get an even surface. I'm pushing a stainable wood filler into all the gaps that I see, and once that's dry, I'm going to grab my sander and work off all the excess until these drawer fronts are nice and smooth. I debated staining these a medium brown color, but after testing a few stain colors on a spare stir stick, I decided that natural was actually best. I applied Minwax's Simply White, which is a really translucent ashy blonde color, just to even everything out and make the wood pop. Then I went in with a coat of water-based polyurethane to make sure the wood is sealed and protected. We are in the home stretch. The last thing I need to do is drill new drawer holes. I didn't want to mark up my new drawer fronts, so I actually applied painter's tape to the approximate position and then measured and marked out my drilling hose directly onto the tape. This also helps prevent any chipping when I drilled through the faces. And then I added these matte black pulls I got from Amazon, so I'll be sure to link those down below. Finally, I jumped back to the body to add a bit of distressing. I also hit the tabletops with a coat of water-based poly just for some added assurance, and added some wax to the drawer slides to make them glide extra smooth. And then we're ready for the final reveal. This is one of my most dramatic transformations, and I absolutely love the result. This one definitely tested my patience, but in the end it was well worth wrangling all those little pieces of wood and battling against the glue to get them stuck down. I'm so glad that I went with the natural wood color as well as the two-tone cream and beige colored body. These fit so well in my guest room, and even better, they match with the custom painting I made a while back and bring everything together. Thanks for sticking around, and let me know what I could have done better down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.